Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. No, I'm not going to go for my walk this morning, and I'm not going to do my yoga. I have a early morning today with work, and they're just I just don't want to risk it. And I still have to eat. I have to take care of her, all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip it this morning. And yeah, I had to be to work, or I had to stay at work until 11 o'clock last night, and then turning around having to be back to work at 11, just trying my best to get some sleep, basically. And I still, of course, still had to unwind from work last night, and also eat something. Even though my sugar was beautiful when I got home and everything, I still had to take my long-acting insulin, and that with the level that it was at, that would have sunk me. So I went ahead and did some things to help it skyrocket, so I could at least get some sleep. So this is where I'm at. I'm a bit tired, but that's okay. Yeah. How you doing? Here, you want to say hi? Miss Purr. Yeah. She's been chasing buggies this morning. We got to fix this situation with the AC unit so we don't get any more buggies coming in. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about the ones that have been coming in. Excuse me. I'm more concerned about the other ones that will start coming in as we progressively get into summer. I know all about those. Yeah, namely the mosquitoes. Don't want those. So yeah, we'll have to take care of those. Weather has been cool, very nice, nice and cool. Still overcast from everything from the other day with the storms that we had. So yeah, not too shabby. Excuse me. As far as work is concerned, saga continues with our pranksters. Okay. I take it that their son isn't having a very good morning. That's okay. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, the pranksters are continuing. Yesterday, well, when I got into work yesterday, I was very happy to see that the doormats hadn't been disturbed and the curtains hadn't been disturbed. It's like, yay! Maybe, this is going to be calming down or whatever. I went to lunch because I know it's happening in the morning when it's busy. I am certain I know who it is. It's these couple of teenage boys wandering around the store. I've had been seeing them wandering around the store this past week. No adults around or anything, nothing in their hands, like they were buying anything. They were just wandering. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff is happening at the same time I'm seeing them. Okay. So that tells me that this is happening in the mornings. When by rights they should be in school, but if they're doing senior pranks, yeah. Especially if possibly they might be doing it before they have to be to school. That's a thought. That's a thought I hadn't considered. Okay. But anyway, and with with what had happened with yesterday's prank, that just kind of confirms things for me, that it was definitely happening first thing in the morning. You know, like maybe when store opens or shortly after everything starts getting a little bit busy, so on and so forth. So anyway, the prank that had happened was I went to lunch. When I came back, I had a shopping cart full of go-backs, returns, whatever you want to call them. And it was predominantly curtains, boxes of curtains. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is not kosher. So I went up front and I talked to him, and I was just like, okay, and explained to him the situation there, and I spoken with the manager out there, and he was like, yeah, that was sitting there when I got in, had a note on it saying that somebody had tried to pay for them, and their card was declined. Whether that's true, I don't doubt what he's saying, but whether whoever put the note on there, I did just think of somebody I could talk to and ask about that as well. I'll have to see. I'll make that judgment call when I get to work. But anyway, not that I'm being obsessed by this or anything. Just it's it's frustrating that it's winding up in my lap all the time. You know, I don't much care, and on the one hand, I really don't care, except that it affects me physically. Because unfortunately, with where we have those, have the curtains, they're on low shelves. And in order for me to be able to, like, see the SKUs, to be able to match things up and so on and so forth, I got to get down on my hands and knees on concrete. And I have bad knees. And it's like, this is getting to be ridiculous. So, yeah, that's my main thing. But I was like, you know what? Okay, as far as the other things that were in the cart were concerned, I went ahead and found their homes. But as far as all those curtains are concerned, I'm like, no, you all need to be monitoring this stuff a lot more, meaning other associates. You take care of it. I talked to, I've spoken with management twice about them, 2 different people, including my own manager. And basically each time I've gotten the same response of, suck it up, buttercup, deal with it. And I'm like, no, I've already dealt with this twice. You deal with it. In other words, let's start pulling some video and seeing what's going on here. Let's see if we can catch the culprit. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now. But yeah. But I did leave a note for whoever comes in the mornings to please, you know, explaining to them what's going on. I know it's pranksters, you know, so on and so forth. Please watch these areas a lot closer so we can stop this. If we have presence around in these areas, they'll be less likely to hit them. Obviously, we're bored. I mean, seeing your prank once is one thing, but to keep doing this, it's just weird. And now that we're possibly using a stolen card, yes, something's not kosher. So, and basically it's escalating. So yeah, this needs to stop. So, but anyway, yeah, that's what's going on with there. And I'll admit that in the process, it is just cementing my resolve even that much more, where I'm not staying. What's the point? Especially if constantly not getting any support. Constantly, basically, on the one hand, being told, that was one of the things that came out with my meeting that I had with my manager Friday evening. Basically, one of the review meetings I have to go through. She put it in the comments that I need, I'm great to work with, all this sort of crap, but I need to be more aggressive with getting leads and so forth. And I'm just like, well, first of all, I had no idea that there was a difference between a lead and a measure. I didn't find that out until, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago or something like that. Oh, okay, whatever. I had no idea. Especially the way things come up in the system when you're filling out the information for a measure. It's coming up. The verbiage or the wordage they use is it's a lead. And without getting any proper training, and that's the thing. On the one hand, they admit I haven't received any sort of proper training because I haven't had a supervisor this whole time who's the one who's supposed to train me. They've been out on sick leave this whole time. And in the same breath, basically, they're also telling me that, oh, well, you've been here for 2 months. I've had somebody actually say this. Yeah, you've been here X amount of time. You should know your job by now. Really? Without training? Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been bullshitting it. Or telling people right now, I have no idea. That's the way I look at it. Or passing the buck, one or the other. Because I know I'm not going to get any of the support that I need. I never will. And last night, with basically being told to suck it up, buttercup. Because we don't want to have to do our jobs. No. I don't see the point in sticking around. So, but anywho, it's been a good situation to help me get stable. But it's time for me to move on and honor my true personality and everything. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But anyway, oh man, yeah, that's kind of everything that's going on there and so forth. I'm hoping I can maybe take a little bit of a nap after I eat. I do need to do that because my sugar is a bit high this morning after spiking myself last night, so I could at least get a little bit of sleep. I woke up initially, it was, I think, 4:45 or something. I don't remember. I know it was 4 something. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be up at 5 o'clock to exercise and so forth. I'm just like out of it. And I'd much rather get that extra hour's worth of sleep. So I reset my alarm. I mostly got it because I needed to go to the bathroom. But I reset my alarm to go off at 6, but I woke up beforehand, turned it off, and I was kind of in and out. And then this little one decided she was hyper and wanted to wake me up, which is fine. I don't mind. I'd much rather she be my alarm clock. Yeah. I'd much rather she be my alarm clock. some icky old piece of technology. No, I like my technology. The technology is going to help get me back on my feet. Yeah. So, she doesn't seem to be scratching. I don't get it. I don't get why. I'm still wondering if it's anxieties. I don't know. I'll see what happens Thursday. I get paid Wednesday night. So I'll see Thursday. I was going to try and make my cookies after getting off from work tonight, but I have a feeling I'm going to be pretty exhausted. Yeah. Want to say hi again? There she is. Miss America. Miss Universe. She's so beautiful. Yeah. I know. She's so pretty. But anywho, I did remember the other thing I was going to mention in my video yesterday. Basically, had another date with Destiny with the tall ladder at work. That was very eye-opening. It's not heights at all. I don't have issues with that. I never have. And I still don't. No. Where the fear is slipping down those stairs. That's where it is. If you've been following me for a while, then you already know the story. You can fast forward past this explanation. Those of you who don't know, haven't been, first of all, welcome. Basically what happened was, when I was a kid, my parents had bought this house in Michigan where I was born and spent my first years. And it had a basement. It had it had these really steep stairs. They were open stairs in the back, and they were really steep going down them. And apparently, when we first moved in, I was 4 at the time. I had fallen down them at that time. I have no memory of it at all whatsoever. But then later, I was 9. I did it again. That one I do remember, and I really have had a fear of that ever since. I have a tendency to fall upstairs. You know, when I'm going upstairs. I've been being more careful, but I have had tendencies to either fall up going upstairs or going downstairs even. And fortunately, it's been more me falling on my butt or whatever, no big deal. But with that incident that happened when I was 9, I took a pretty bad tumble, going over and over and over, with falling down. And I was holding a big box of laundry detergent, taking it downstairs for storage. Basically, we had the storage area where we'd put canning jars and so forth. Also, stocking up for winter months, especially during those times when we would get so snowed in we couldn't get out. So, yeah, I was taking that box downstairs after we got groceries, and my mom really hesitated in allowing me to go downstairs. I'm like, no, it's okay, Mom, I got it, you know, I'll do it or whatever. She's like, okay, be careful. And then, dum 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 dum. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was funny. I remember parts of the fall, kind of. Over the years, I really wasn't remembering, but I've been recalling a little bit more, especially since I moved here and I've been trying to tackle that fear and everything. Parts of it have been coming back to me because my brain had blocked it out for years. All I can remember is I had the box around. I was remembering doing the part of falling forward. After that, complete blank until I was at the bottom of the stairs. But I've been kind of remembering a little bit here and there with it, with what happened during the tumble. And I remember my mom, I mean, she came flying down the stairs. And it was just like, and I remember thinking, Mom, please don't fall. You know, I need help, and don't hurt yourself in the process. You know, and I also remember a thing that I was most concerned with when I had kind of come to. I did black out. I remember that. And my first recollection, though, is me throughout the years after everything was said and done was me being in pain, but telling her, no, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry about the laundry detergent box. I was more concerned about what happened there to that box than me, and basically her telling me, don't worry about the laundry detergent box. Are you okay? You know? That's what I'm worried about. And I just kept apologizing. You know, I'm sorry that I damaged it, because that's where my mind was. You know, I damaged the box. You know, and she's like, I don't care about the box. Are you okay? You know, but surprisingly, the box made it safe and sound. No issues. I think there may have been a dent in the top part or something. You know, right there, you know, around the corners or something. I don't know. I never did really find out what happened to Box. I know she didn't have to clean up laundry detergent. That much I do know. But yeah, that was just that was so yeah. As I've been trying to tackle those fears, I've been remembering, or that fear, I've been remembering more and more about the actual fall. But the other night, or the other day, Friday, when I was at work, I had to go up there, and what really triggered the memories is this time I had to grab boxes. They were small, but they were like the same sort of consistency, because there's a powdery substance in them, a little bit on the heavy side, and I have to take that, grab it. I mean, I was able to grab it with one hand or whatever, but I had to kind of maneuver, kind of oddball or what have you, in order to be able to get get those boxes. It's basically like a grout, you know, pre-sanded grout or whatever. You just mix it with water and then apply. But yeah, and normally you can hold them with one hand or whatever. They're not very big, but it was enough to trigger that fear, and I just kept grabbing those rails real tight. And of course, I was making sure I was wearing my gloves, because they got the grippers on them. They got that gripping material. So I was making sure I was using those to grab the boxes and to hold on for dear life with those, because I was all the way at the top a lot of times. And I was just in fear. I was even having to grab while I was on one of the lower steps, and of course it's open in the back, skinny, just like the stairs are skinny, just like the ones in that went down to the basement. it was basically almost an exact scenario to that situation. I'm like, okay, this is making a lot of sense. And yeah, I'll admit, I was breaking out in a sweat. I was in total fear. But I'm like, no, we're going to push through this. We're going to do this. And on top of it, I was also having to use a reach stick, and I had to use this one that's been um, augmented to make longer. So I'm like, okay. That was just, that was very eye-opening. Very eye-opening experience. I did have to use the tall ladder once or twice yesterday. It wasn't so bad, but I wasn't grabbing a box. I did get a little fearful when I was having to be grabbing something else on one of the shorter ladders. I was very worried it was kind of bulky. I was very worried I was going to wind up falling. So, yeah, it's something I have to work on. Something I have to overcome, at least as much as possible. But, let's face it, it is a legitimate fear. It isn't something where nothing had happened and I just have a fear of it, like fear of being in an enclosed place, fear of spiders, or anything like that. And you've never been bitten by a spider. It just is hanging there, or whatever. I mean, I understand the fear. Don't get me wrong. I'm not playing anything down. It's completely understandable. But what I'm trying to say is, with this having a fear of stairs, it is based on something actual. That's what, and so I think it will help for me to remember as much as possible to help me with overcoming. So we'll see what happens. But anywho, yeah, I do need to get myself moving. So anyway, I'm moving forward with everything. Unfortunately, it's an early night tonight. I'll be done by 8, so yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be coming home, excuse me, and dying. I can't die for very long because I got to be able to take my nighttime insulin at its usual time, so yeah. Anywho, I should go say hi to her one last time. As you can see, she's curled up with her mommy. Yeah, I know, she's such a precious girl. So, anyway, love you guys. I'll talk at you soon. Love you.